Hi, I'm Bobby Maggie with Federal Educators, and welcome to the Federal Employee Benefit Show. Our experience in working with federal employees has taught us that no one solution is right for every situation. In today's show, we're going to help answer the most common questions we receive every day. How will I retire, and when am I eligible to retire? What is MRA? What year would you like to retire? How do I calculate my FERS, my CSRS annuity? And what is the cost of survivor benefit? What happens to FEGLI when I retire? And what should I do with my TSP? Should I buy back military time? And when should I elect Social Security? Should I roll my TSP to an IRA? And what about Roth or traditional IRAs? We understand your benefits, its strengths, and its weakness, and we know how to help you get the most from your retirement plan. This show is to help educate you on your federal benefits and help you take full advantage of all that your federal benefits have to offer. When it comes to your federal employee benefits, what you don't know can hurt you. So sit back and take some notes. All of this and more on the Federal Employee Benefit Show, and it starts right now. We are going to be talking about something very important to a lot of federal people, the health insurance called FEHB. And I know for a fact when we talk about FEGLI and TSP and FEHB, it's alphabet soup. Yeah. So let's make it clear what FEHB is. So let's talk about that.
Today, let's talk about the Civil Service Retirement System, also referred to as CSRS, and the Federal Employee Retirement System, referred to FERS, FERS. So what's the difference?
We've had some questions sent in by our viewers that I'd like to address. And the first is a 5-letter acronym called FEGLI. So you're gonna have to tell me a little bit about what that means, but it's also known as the Federal Employee Group Life Insurance.
Coming up next on the Federal Employee Benefits Show, the Roundtable segment.
Welcome back to Federal Educators. My name is Robert Maggie. I'm here with my son Chris Maggie and Kirk Agus, and we are going to be talking about something very important to a lot of federal people, the health insurance called FEHB. And I know for a fact when we talk about FEGLI and TSP and FEHB, it's alphabet soup.
Yeah.
So let's make it clear what FEHB is. So let's talk about that.
Sure, that's the Federal Employee Health Benefit. And it's funny you say that because that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
You ask someone, what kind of FEHB do you have? Oh, is that my life insurance? Or if you ask it the other way around, they say, well, is that my health insurance? But no,
Yeah.
FEHB. So again, start with the leave and earnings statement. Right? It's right there under deductions, and it'll tell us there's a code, and it's so important because we have access to all of them. We know what plan you're on. So it's health insurance for the federal employee. They can carry it for their spouse. They can carry it for their dependents, their children under the age of 26, right? So when we look for that code, we'll see a 3-digit number. Oftentimes 111, 112, 113. Those are more common with the nationwide Blue Cross Blue Shield plans. So one of them in particular is self only.
I was just going to talk about that.
Then there's self plus one.
Yep.
And then there's the family plan, right? And it's amazing to me how many times too we see confusion on what plan they have. They think they have self plus one and they have family, and there's no reason to have family still.
Which costs more.
Exactly.
Costs
right?
more.
And they're paying for that.
Yep.
So they might be covered that way for 2 years, and then they realize, because when we look at the leave and earnings statement, that hold on, time out, we just noticed something that they could have had more in their pocket, but now they're paying for something they don't need, right? So
At length too, we'll see it. They've been doing that way, incorrectly for 2, 3, 4 years, and they could have had a lot more money.
Well,
in
we
their
had a
back
situation, a lady came to the seminar and we talked about that, and she went back and checked her code. She's married and the kids are out. So she was still paying for family. Yeah. I mean, she blew a cork. She was like upset, I want my money back, but you can't because you have to submit a form to change that so, the HR knows to take that off. But again, it's the part where people don't understand the numbers, the letters, and what it does. And there's a perfect example. It costs them, like you just said, more from their salary, and now they're wondering where the money's going to.
You mentioned a great point. Federal employees have the best benefits, right? So that's why we talk about the FEGLI, the TSP, the survivor benefit, the health insurance, the dental plans, the HSA. My gosh, there's so much benefits there for the employees. And
but that's what they sign up for and don't even know.
Which is great. So that's why you got to make sure that you're getting this reviewed each and every year, or especially if you're about to retire. That's why the benefits analysis report is so important. But what happens in retirement with their health insurance? Does it just stop, or how does that work?
No, this is one of the coolest things for federal employees is that they can continue their FEHB, their health insurance. As long as they had it for 5 years, they can maintain it in retirement. Not only just for themselves, but they can keep it for their spouse as well.
How many people come in and they're ready to retire, but they can't retire, they think, until 3 or 4 more years because they think they're going to lose their health insurance. But in true, what the client already has 15 years and already qualified for it, but they don't know, and they're forcing to work 3 more years thinking they're going to lose it, and they're not going to lose the FEHB. They're going to keep it as long as you have employed for 5 years.
Exactly. And then when you get to 65, this is where a lot of confusion comes in with the FEHB and Medicare.
And Medicare.
Right? So at 65, as we all know, a lot of the federal don't know, you automatically get Medicare Part A. That's the hospital coverage. Everyone gets that. That's what you're paying into, right? But it's the Part B that becomes confusing for many. That's the doctors, the medical coverage. That's what your FEHB is paying for right now. So while you're working and you have FEHB, you don't need Medicare Part B because you already have that. You'd be paying double, right? There's a premium for Medicare Part B, $164.90 bare bones, right? But when you retire, the confusion then sets in even further because many believe that, well, I have to go on Medicare A and B.
Right.
You actually do not need to do that because you get to keep your benefit in retirement. If you love that plan that you're on, there's no need to get Medicare Part B. You have what's called credible coverage. You have the insurance. We had a client, if you remember one time, that came into the office, and it was the wife who was the federal employee. The husband had been retired from his job. He was almost 70 at that point, and so he had Medicare Part B plus the FEHB from his wife. They didn't know that he actually did not need that Medicare Part B. So the funny thing was, he said, "What? So I can actually stop my Part B right now?" Yeah, you can. He said, "Are they going to pay me back all that I paid into the Part B?"
That's not going to happen.
One would wish, but that's a great benefit for federal employees. They get to keep all this in retirement.
And you can keep Part B as well if you want to pay the monthly premium. So you can do that as well. So you have options, but you're not required to because you have what they call credible insurance.
The problem there, if they keep B and they make X amount of dollars, a fancy lady comes in. You may want to talk about her. Not many people realize Irma. She's a sweet gal, but boy, if you take the FEHB and you take Part B and you're making over, say, whatever, the number, you're going to pay more for Part B, and boy, does that create confusion.
Oh, it does. IRMA, income-related monthly adjustment
Exactly.
amount. So they'll look back at your tax return from 2 years ago. And if you're above, depending on if you're filing individually or married joint, depending on how much income you make, then you actually have to pay more in Part B. It does not affect your FEHB.
No.
And oh, by the way, in retirement, what many don't realize is that you still pay the same cost in retirement. Your agency, the federal government, still pays their same fair share in retirement as if you were still working. And you could change your plan every year. You can come in, make adjustments to it, but it doesn't change the cost in retirement as opposed to when you were working.
Which is great, and that's why you have the best benefits out there. It's a really great thing. And the one thing I do want to add, though, is you mentioned health insurance in retirement. If you are working and you've been there for a certain period of time and you keep the health insurance, in order for your spouse to keep the health insurance in retirement, if something happens to you, you have to make sure that they elect the survivor benefit. It could be a 25% survivor benefit or a 50% survivor benefit. So if the federal employee does not take the health or a survivor benefit and something happens to them in retirement, they pass away, then there's no coverage goes to the spouse for the FEHB, which is very, very, very important. So that's why when we do the federal benefits analysis, we'll show you hey, this is what's going to cost you to keep the survivor benefit, this is what's going to cost for the health insurance, and then you can make your plans moving forward.
So I'm sure that you all have questions because we know you do. Just pick up the phone and give us a call or go to our website, federaleducators.com. because we want to do a federal benefits analysis to address what Kirk and Chris were talking about. Folks, it's your retirement plan. Make sure you understand everything before you jump across that cliff. Otherwise, you're going to sink and swim. We don't want that. So if you have any questions, give us a call or go to my website, Federal Educators. And we also have a book here called The Informed Fed. If you take a look at this, there's a lot of information on here on the TSP, on the FEGLI, on the FEHB. It's a simple read, but this is something that you should have. If you'd like a copy, just request one. We'll take care of it for you and get educated, and that's what we do for this show. So thanks for joining us today. We'll be right back for more with Federal Educators. Hi, I'm Bobby Maggie, owner of Federal Educators, a company dedicated to helping federal employees just like you. How much will you receive in your pension? How much does the survivor benefit cost? Can you keep your health insurance in retirement? With a free benefits analysis, we will answer all these questions and more. As a federal employee, it's critical to have a clear understanding to maximize your benefits. From FERS retirement to Social Security and health insurance, our team at Federal Educators specializes in knowing your benefits. Schedule your free benefits analysis today.
Coming up next is the topic segment on the Federal Employee Benefits Show.
Hello and welcome to Federal Educators. Our goal every week at Federal Educators is to provide the education federal employees need to make better decisions. Each member of our firm has earned a Federal Retirement Consultant designation that signifies their depth of knowledge and expertise in federal benefits. Call us at 813-491-1786 to get in touch with a professional expert to help you understand your FERS and CSRS benefits. Regarding your federal benefits, if you would like a free benefits analysis, visit federaleducators.com or call 813-491-1786. Operators are standing by right now. It's free and no cost or obligation to you. It's an individually tailored document summarizing all your benefits. Today, let's talk about the Civil Service Retirement System, also referred to as CSRS, and the Federal Employee Retirement System, referred to FERS, FERS. So what's the difference? Retirement is a major consideration for anyone who has worked or is currently working in the civil service sector. Two popular retirement systems that are often discussed are the Civil Service Retirement System and the Federal Employee Retirement System. While both retirement options provide benefits to federal employees upon their retirement, there are some key differences between them. Understanding these differences can help current and future federal employees make informed decisions about which system may be best suited for them. At Federal Educators, we strive to be a great resource for understanding how to plan for retirement and learning about available benefits and options. Don't hesitate to contact us at 813-491-1786. If you have any questions, operators are standing by right now and receive a personalized federal benefits analysis. It's free and no cost or obligation to you. We will explore the key features and differences between CSRS and FERS to help you determine which one is right for you. So what is the Federal Employee Retirement System? The FERS is a retirement plan for employees of the federal government. It was established in 1986 to replace the CSRS system. FERS provides retirement, disability, and survivor benefits to eligible federal employees. One of the primary benefits of FERS is that it includes three distinct components: a basic annuity, Social Security, the Thrift Savings Plan, otherwise known as TSP. The basic annuity is based on an employee's length of service and the highest average salary over 3 years. Social Security provides additional income during retirement, while your TSP allows employees to save money through payroll deductions and receive matching contributions from their employer. To be eligible for FERS, individuals must be employed by the federal government for at least 5 years. Those who have worked previously under CSRS or are covered by another federal retirement system may have different eligibility requirements. What is the Civil Service Retirement System? The Civil Service Retirement System, CSRS, is a federal retirement plan that was created in 1920 to offer retirement, disability, and survivor benefits to qualified federal employees. The SERS covers most civilian employees who began working for the federal government before 1984. Under SERS, eligible employees receive a guaranteed lifetime annuity payment upon retirement that is based on their length of service and the highest average salary earned during the 3 consecutive years of highest earnings. Retirees may be eligible for cost of living adjustments to account for inflation over time. To qualify for SERS benefits, employees must have completed at least 5 years of credible civilian service with the federal government. Employees are also required to contribute a portion of their salary toward the retirement fund while they are working for the government. One very important issue here is this plan offers a guaranteed lifetime income stream that is adjusted for inflation. There are no Social Security benefits available for employees enrolled in SERS. So what are the differences? The primary difference between the two systems is their structure. SERS is a defined benefit plan, which means that benefits are based on a formula that considers the length of service and the highest average salary. FERS, on the other hand, requires employees to contribute to both Social Security and an employer-sponsored plan with matching contributions from their agency. Another key difference is how each system handles cost of living adjustments. For SERS retirees, COLAs are calculated based on changes in the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. FERS retirees receive COLAs based on changes in CPIW up to 2%, after which they receive a reduced adjustment equal to 1 percentage point less than CPIW. Navigate the federal retirement maze. Choosing the right retirement system can make a significant difference in your future financial well-being. Both the civil service retirement system and federal employee retirement system have their benefits and drawbacks. It is crucial to understand the key differences between these two systems before making a decision. At Federal Educators, we are here to assist you in navigating federal retirement options and making an informed decision that best suits your needs. Reach out to us today at 813-491-1786 for guidance on planning your federal retirement and securing a stable financial future for yourself and your loved ones. That's all for this segment. Stay tuned for more from Federal Educators. Hi, I'm Kirk Agus with Federal Educators, a company dedicated to helping federal employees just like you. How much will you receive in your pension? How much does the survivor benefit cost? Can you keep your health insurance in retirement? With a free benefits analysis, we will answer all these questions and more. As a federal employee, it's critical to have a clear understanding to maximize your benefits. From FERS retirement to Social Security and health insurance, our team at Federal Educators specializes in knowing your benefits. Schedule your free benefits analysis today.
Hi, I'm Chris Maggie, owner of Federal Educators, a company dedicated to helping federal employees just like you. Want to know how much your FERS pension will be? How about when you can retire? At Federal Educators, we specialized in federal employee benefits for over 2 decades. Schedule your free benefits analysis with us today. Clearly, understanding your benefits, such as how and when to take distributions, is critical. Our benefit analysis will cost you nothing. Not taking it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. We look forward to speaking with you.
Coming up next on the Federal Employee Benefits Show, the Q&A segment.
Welcome back to the Federal Educator Show. I'm Christina Walsh, and joining me today are Chris Maggie and Kirk Agus. Thank you both for joining me.
Pleasure.
We've had some questions sent in by our viewers that I'd like to address, and the first is a 5-letter acronym called FEGLI. So you're gonna have to tell me a little bit about what that means, but it's also known as the Federal Employee Group Life Insurance.
Yep.
It can get pretty expensive, but let's talk a little bit about the difference between FEGLI while we're working and FEGLI in retirement. Can we start with what is FEGLI and how does that work while you're still working?
Sure. So FEGLI, Federal Employee Group Life Insurance, it's group term insurance. So while the employee is working, you can cover yourself, you can cover your loved ones, you can have a multiplier. It's a little bit less expensive when you're working as opposed to retirement. I'll let Chris touch on the retirement element to it. But what one wants to do is, because we ask the question all the time, do you have FEGLI? Well, gosh, I don't know. Look at your leave and earnings statement. Go under deductions and you'll see FEGLI and you'll see a code next to it. Most of the time we'll see C0, that refers to basic. Oftentimes you'll see another letter and a number, maybe a Z5, which is the max coverage. But how that's calculated is you look at your annual salary and it's rounded up to the nearest 1,000 and then they'll add 2,000 more. So a great example would be if someone's making 98,000, the reality is they're at 100,000 in basic life insurance coverage. But that's just basic. They could have the multiplier up to 5 times their salary. They could put coverage on their spouse or dependents. And the more you add, certainly the more costly it'll get. But in retirement, it's a little bit different when we talk about costs, because that's when it gets a little bit crazy.
It does, and this is where you need to really understand the costs in retirement, because the higher the costs, eat away your pension. And in retirement, you want more income. So the more income you have, that's what we're all looking for, right, when you retire. So what happens is that in retirement, you have some options. You can keep basic, you can keep the multiplier. There's option A, option C for a spouse or for dependents. But what happens is every 5 years, the costs increase. So think about this. You're working stage, you're making good money, you're younger, it doesn't cost much for you. But when you're older now, you get this pension, and like I said, if you keep the benefit, then the benefit keeps increasing costs, it reduces your pension amount. Give you a quick example. We had a doctor who's still working today. He makes a really good amount of money, but he can't really retire because his health isn't that good. So we did analysis for him, and if he retires, the cost of his FEGLI is pretty much the same as his pension. So if he stops working, he'll get really no pension. It's going to be a wash because he's older and it's going to increase. So at some point, his pension is going to be less than what he has to pay out. So he has to use other sources to cover it. So and he's not in good health, so he's kind of working to kind of cover the life insurance costs,
It's
which
group
is sad.
term because there's no cash value in it. It's not a whole life product.
Right.
So what he could have done was
Years
several
ago.
years earlier is looked at alternative coverage for life insurance, right? That could get him into a fixed premium amount, maybe something with a cash value, and he would have eliminated that because, like Chris says, in retirement it eats away at your pension. So when we run a federal benefit analysis report, we'll show you, we know what your retirement date is going to be because you shared it with us, and we'll show you if you keep your current coverage, what that's going to look like. And you'll see the increases every 5 years. And the client, they look at it and they go, wow, okay, that's a little crazy.
Exactly.
Then we'll run it with the reductions because there's reduction elements. You can take a 50% reduction, you can take a 75% reduction, and it'll lower that premium cost down even on a 75% reduction to zero. And so it depends on if life insurance is important for the federal employee in retirement. If it makes sense to keep something, then they have a nice little final expense policy, or maybe they do need to have some coverage, then we can look at something outside with a fixed premium amount so they don't have to worry about these increases.
And you brought up a great point. If you're younger, if there's younger federal employees out there, now's the time to look at strategies to offset this. To have a fixed amount, now is the time to do it because then you'll be in perfect situation. Later on, we don't have to be like that client of ours who is still working, doesn't really want to, but he has to cover that. So, great
That's
point.
a great point.
So it sounds like they need that free analysis to go into what are their options, and especially the sooner that you do it, the more options you're going to have to plan for. Can you talk a little bit about how federal employees can get a free benefit analysis to understand their benefits?
Yeah, so what happens is we see, because we've been doing this for a long time, there's federal employees that have worked 20 years, 25, 28, 30 years, 35 years, and they come in, they're like, we don't know how to retire. And we look at them like, what? We have other clients that come in and say, well, I don't get a pension. And we say, yeah, you do. And they kind of fight with us in a way because they don't know their own benefits. So that's why we do what we do here, is to educate federal employees. But that's why that benefits analysis is so important now. Get your benefits analysis because it'll help you plan for your retirement. So you're not shocked. And we've had many people come in and say, I can retire now and get that. And we looked at each other like, yeah, you can. And they want to retire, and they do. So they don't have to work any more years.
Go on our website, go to federaleducators.com, and just schedule a time to meet. This report, it's customized. It's your information. But we cover the survivor benefits, so we'll look at all 3 different pension options and calculations. We talk about TSP projection, traditional and Roth. We go over the FEGLI like we've been speaking about, the FEHB, and we'll show you what those costs will look like, what's going to come off of the pension. And the other deduction that we didn't even mention yet is the tax that comes off of the pension itself. So there's a lot to it, but it's an individualized report. It's very simple. Just go onto the website, federaleducators.com, schedule a time to meet. It's free. It's no cost or obligation to anyone, but it's their benefits, and they need to know that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I feel like we've got a good call to action. That seems like a great place for us to wrap up. So thank you both for joining me today.
Yes.
And thank you all for joining us. We'll be back with more of the Federal Educators Show after this.
Hi, I'm Kirk Agus with Federal Educators, a company dedicated to helping federal employees just like you. Want to know how much your FERS pension will be? How about when you can retire? At Federal Educators, we've specialized in federal employee benefits for over 2 decades. Schedule your free benefits analysis with us today. Clearly understanding your benefits, such as how and when to take distributions, is critical. Our benefits analysis will cost you nothing. Not taking it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. We look forward to speaking with you.
Hi, I'm Chris Maggie, owner of Federal Educators, a company dedicated to helping federal employees just like you. How much will you receive in your pension? How much does the survivor benefit cost? Can you keep your health insurance in retirement? With the free benefits analysis, we will answer all these questions and much more. As a federal employee, it's critical to have a clear understanding to maximize your benefits. From FERS retirement to Social Security and health insurance, our team at Federal Educators specializes in knowing your benefits. Schedule your free benefits analysis today.
Hi, I'm Bobby Maggie, owner of Federal Educators, a company dedicated to helping federal employees just like you. Do you want to know how much your FERS pension will be? How about when can you retire? At Federal Educators, we've specialized in federal employee benefits for over 2 decades. Schedule your free benefits analysis with us today. Clearly understanding your benefits, such as how and when to take distributions, is critical. Our benefits analysis will cost you nothing. Not taking it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. We look forward to speaking with you.
Thank you for watching the Federal Employee Benefits Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Our goal every week is to help you better understand the retirement language so you know when to retire and know if you can retire. Make sure to tune in next week as we continue discussing all your federal benefits. Retirement may be more within your reach than you think. Request your free benefits analysis so you can understand all your federal benefits. Visit us online at federaleducators.com. And that's all for today, and we look forward to seeing you here again next week.